Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the next installment of Deep Thoughts. Why not, eh? So, I've got something that I want to discuss because of the fact that the stuff that's going over social media on this is so asinine that I know I have to put in my own personal 2 cents about this. Because of the fact that we are looking at something that basically can and cannot be construed as bad. I don't blame them for thinking that is bad, but I don't think they see the full picture. They only see two words that really, well, actually, three words that really come together, and people are getting up in arms about this: beer, wine, and ferries. And I'm not talking about the little flappy wing ones. I'm talking about the ones that the BC Ferries go back and forth on. So, we're going to get into a beer ourselves, and then we're going to sit down and we're going to pick apart this whole thing about BC Ferries looking to add beer and wine to some sailings, not all, on their routes. Let's do it. And today's beer is going to be a Twin Sails beer, and it is cash only, a 10.1% triple IPA. This beer has got a lot of punch to it, a lot of pow to it, and it is one of those beers that I really enjoy. This is my third 4-pack of this beer. I really like this one for the price that I get it for, and you can't go wrong with 10.1%. But that being said, you could go wrong with 10.1% on a ferry if you're serving beer. Cheers, guys. All right, let's get down to it. So here's the deal. BC Ferries yesterday announced that they will be looking at putting some alcohol on some of their sailings. They're looking at the ones traveling between Swartz Bay and Sawasan, according to a report by the news site The Orca. The Orca, which obtained an internal staff memo detailing the pilot project, reports that beer and wine will be sold on 3 vessels: the Spirit of British Columbia, the Spirit of Vancouver, and the Coastal Celebration. All three of these are pretty much decent in the way of getting across. It's an hour and a half ferry ride from one spot to the other. They're also planning on doing it um, pretty much where passengers can only buy 1 or 2 drinks and must also buy a meal. And they're doing it for the buffet pretty much. And beer and wine cannot be sold or consumed in other lounges on the ferries. So I do believe they're looking at doing it on the buffet area, which is fine because that's a contained area. As soon as you leave that buffet, you're done. You have to pay to get back in, unless there's some sort of emergency where you have to leave and you have to tell the chief steward and then come back again. So it's in a contained area, and you can only buy 1 or 2 drinks, which by the legal law is allowed. You are allowed to have 1 to 2 drinks, maximum of 2, bought at one single time. You cannot have any more than that. It has to equal approximately one standard drink, or basically 100% of the alcohol that you're having. So if it's a 5% beer, you can have two 12-ounce or 16-ounce drinks to make it as one standard drink. That is allowed. Two 5-ounce things of wine equals out to about 1.5 standard drinks, but it's still allowed. It's only 5 ounces, depending on the ABV. So people are up in arms about this. They're freaking out about this. There are some people out there that are absolutely freaking out about this because the fact that you are driving on a ferry, some people are walking on, and you're going to go drink on the ferry. 1 to 2 drinks on the ferry. Now, There is some setbacks that could happen, but I'll get into those in a bit. Here's the thing that people are pissed off about. You're driving onto the ferry and you're having beer and you're driving off, or you're having wine and you're driving off. You're having 1 to 2 glasses. That's it, you're allowed. They are also regulated by law because God knows I studied this just recently, so this is all fresh in my mind. You have to close down liquor sales 30 minutes before you close down your shop, at least. Liquor sales have to be shut down 30 minutes before you close down. So 30 minutes before you arrive at your destination, you're not allowed to drink anymore. You're not allowed to buy drinks anymore. They may actually make it a little bit further back, like 45 minutes, because that also gives people time to sober up a little bit. It is an hour and a half ferry ride. So 45 minutes and 45, like you have 45 minutes to drink and then you can't drink anymore or you can't buy any more drinks at that point in time. They also shut down the buffet about 15 minutes before they dock, which means everybody has to leave the buffet area. So you have a little bit of time not only to sober up, but you're also having a meal with it, which in the safety guides for legal consumption of alcohol, it is regulated that you should be having something to eat with your alcohol in any event whatsoever. It is a regulation that is stated in there. People also have to have serve it right in there because they're serve it right or special events server certificates in order to serve the alcohol to the people. So they have to know what to look for, what signs are intoxications, when to cut people off, and how many drinks you can serve, and you have to have food with it. They're all going under compliance of the liquor relations law. And again, people are still pissed off with this. I can understand why people be upset with this because they feel that any drinking and driving is wrong, which is not exactly entirely a incorrect statement. In fact, it is something that should possibly be implemented to a degree. They have a point zero four percent tolerance level for alcohol. So you can only blow 0.04 or lower. So they have a lower alcohol tolerance for their regular for drinking and driving. Here in Alberta, it's 0.08 still. So basically, it is half a standard drink to blow, pretty much. Not even. So it's, but at the same point in time, the way the alcohol goes through someone is also dependent on how big they are, their age, and everything else. For me, alcohol takes a lot longer to go through my system because I am short, fat, and old. Just the way it is. Compared to someone who's got a lot of muscle mass or a lot leaner and different muscle mass than what I have. I have more fat in my body, so it takes a lot longer to go through my system because of my fat in my body. Hence why drinking is bad for me. Drinking is bad for anybody. But they're not serving hard alcohol. They're only serving beer and wine. How is this different than going out to a restaurant and enjoying a glass of beer or 2 glasses of beer or a couple glasses of wine? Well, it's not. You're pretty much driving to a restaurant location that just happens to be on the water and there just happens to be sailing across the sea. There, like I said, there is some possibilities that something could go wrong. Like if someone's on some sort of medication, steroid, or anything else that can actually enhance the outcome of how they're drinking or what they look like when they're drinking. if they've had alcohol before getting on the ferry and they're driving off, um, and they drink more on the ferry. But at the same point in time, they've been drinking beforehand. That is something that the ferry cannot control. They can control the person that is their in their buffet by refusing service if they smell alcohol on him or if he comes to appear intoxicated. They can deny service for beer and wine. That isn't a problem. In fact, it is one of the safer ones. They can also, now this would be a fun one for a lot of people, they can also have it where they cannot make you drive. They can say, look, I don't want you driving off of here. Let us take your car, get it off the ferry. You can join us on walking off. We'll meet you somewhere at the ferry terminal, and then we'll discuss what to do afterwards because you appear to be intoxicated. They're going to have people ready and willing to drive a vehicle off of the person's drive the vehicle off of the ferry if they appear to be intoxicated. That might create more jobs. I'm just throwing that out there. Could be a little service that they get. They also can have police presence at both locations, the Swartz Bay Terminal and the Tsawwassen Terminal, in case anything gets out of hand. They can also have security aboard the ferries in case anything gets out of hand. There's a lot of things that they can do that will actually create a few more jobs for people, which in the event that something happens, it will be good to see. Like there could be some extra jobs available if you bring beer and wine aboard. That being said as well, it is just some things that you can actually circumnavigate to make sure that everybody is having a safe and pleasant journey. It's not a bad thing, folks. It really isn't. And I'm a person that hates drinking and driving. Okay, I absolutely detest it. But if it's done within the safe levels, it can be done properly. It's in a controlled environment, unlike a restaurant where you can't really control it as much. You control it a little bit more here because you're on a ferry. Where the hell are they going to go? Nowhere. You can watch them like a hawk because they're on a very small vessel and not trying to go places. So again, extra security possibly would be needed for it in order to get this to happen, which is a good thing. Like I said, it's creating jobs. There's another good thing about this as well. You have thousands of people riding the ferry. There's only a handful of people that will be going on into the buffet to eat or drink. There's only a handful of those handful of people that will actually order beer and wine. Just a small handful. And you can only have 1 to 2 glasses. They will not allow you to have any more. Doesn't mean you can bring your own alcohol inside there and drink. That's not allowed. Just means you have to purchase their alcohol. Their prices are huge too. Like they have stupid expensive prices on their ferries. One person buffet, I think, is going for $30 right now. No one can eat $30 worth of food. They really can't. And probably the beer and the wine is going to be more expensive than buying it at a local arena while you watch your favorite professional sports team. Where, for example, up in Edmonton, it's $12 for a can of beer. $12. Just imagine what it'll be on the ferries. If it's $30 for a buffet for one person, imagine what the price of the beer is going to be there. I'm guessing between $8 and $15. That's pretty much my ballpark. $9 and $15 Canadian. So people aren't going to want to drink that much. It is a pilot project, so they are trying to get some things, some kinks worked out. But there's a lot of good things that could really happen with this. For example, if you're heading over from Victoria to Vancouver, you know what? We have this lovely brewery that we're highlighting right now for our buffet. It is pretty much X, Y, or Z brewery. If you want, here is a free ticket to call up this certain brewery in Vancouver and go do a tour. Just call them up, say you have this free ticket, schedule a time, and take a tour. Or if you're going from Vancouver to Victoria, here's a lovely showcase of what we're showing from Victoria. Here's XYZ Brewery. This is what we're showing this week. Here is a ticket, and again, for a free tour. It might cost $15 for that beer, but you get a free tour out of it. You can hand it off to anyone else who wants a free tour. The business gets a little bit more business because they're showcasing these beers on a busy ferry. This is a win-win. On a busy ferry, they're showcasing these beers, and they can change it up. This month we have, or this week we have, this week we have, and over the between April and September is tourist season. Huge, huge tourist season. You can not only have beautiful times where you can actually have tours of breweries that are in the area, but you also, if they're going to the Okanagan, here's this winery that we have. Here it is. Here's a free ticket for a wine tour. If you're heading to the Okanagan, there you go. If you're heading to this place, here you go. If you want more of this alcohol, here is a place in downtown Vancouver you can go, and here's a 10% off card for their beer or wine selection there. This is one of the best ideas you can do. And BC Ferries, if you use this idea, I want in on it. I want credit for this, and I want a cut. I'm not kidding about this, because this is huge potential. This is absolutely massive potential. But people see it as, oh my God, people are drinking and driving. Unless they're walking on. Foot traffic is a lot more too. And they walk off and they either get to their vehicle and drive away that way, or they get on a bus and they're on a bus after having a couple beers. And the most that would happen is, oh shit, I've got to go to the bathroom. And that's a long bus drive to the downtown core. I know. I've done it. It's people are getting so bent out of shape with this, and they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. I understand the concerns, but it looks like it's been a well thought out plan. It really does. This looks like something that a lot of people could benefit from if it is executed properly. If it is absolutely maintained the way that it should be, it could be a beautiful thing. So all the people that are bitching and complaining that people are going to be drinking and driving, do yourself a favor. Don't go out to a restaurant ever, and don't have a drink ever, and don't drive. Because you're doing exactly the same thing as if you were doing this on the ferries. Just throwing that out there. Only they're not mandated to keep it to a certain amount of drinks. They can feed you as much drinks as they want, as long as they're keeping an eye on you and as long as they see that you're not driving home, because that is regulated by the liquor and cannabis and gaming laws of different areas. It's actual law. It's been put into place. So honestly, before you people freak out about this stuff, possibly read up about the rules, read up about what they have, what they can do. It's just one of those things that basically it's gonna happen. They're gonna be 1 to 2 drinks. That's it. They're not going to be high percentage alcohol. They're going to try and keep it at 5% or the standard 13% 5-ounce wine. That's it. It's not going to be anything absolutely major. And I totally get where half these people are coming from with drinking and driving. Like I said, I'm a person that hates drinking and driving, but I also feel that if it is done properly, you are allowed to have at least one drink depending on your weight, size, and age, and what kind of medication you're on. A lot of people watch out for that. Okay. It's something that people watch out for. There's the handful of people that will ruin it. Yes. But that's why they have the laws in place and they're trapped on a ferry. They become unruly on a ferry. They get thrown into a holding cell and wait till the police come on and they have everything taken off, including their vehicle. They'll have it driven off and moved away so that everybody can get off. It's nothing that they probably can't handle. In fact, it'll probably create a few more jobs. It should create a few more jobs, anyways. Honestly, I say let them do it. That's my thoughts. I honestly think that they should do this. There is some like great potential to have money spent back into the province. Because if they do this right, it's almost like going to a wine tasting or a beer tasting or anything else. If they do this absolutely right, they can turn around and make a profit, work with some of the local breweries and local wineries, and have some great things happen. This is a big opportunity. And for the people that still think this is horrible, check the stats down the states. See how many ferries serve alcohol down there. See how many people have been able to drive off. The Coho, if I remember correctly, I think does it. I do believe the Princess Marguerite back in the day used to do it, and they also used to allow gambling as soon as they crossed U.S. waters. They opened up the gambling tables because you couldn't gamble in Canada over the ocean, but you could in the States. So as soon as they hit that United States border, open up things, start to gamble. You can drink on there, you do whatever else. But they didn't have mandates of how much you could drink back then either. So that was touch and go on that one. But yeah, like I said, you can turn around and make this into a huge thing. In fact, I might even contact BC Ferries myself and say, hey, look, let me help you out with this. I've got some wonderful ideas to make sure that this becomes a beautiful relationship between brewery and ferry, or between winery and ferry. This would be something that people would absolutely enjoy. And if not, they've got all you can drink pop there because it's a buffet. You can actually still have your pop afterwards as well, or orange juice, or coffee, or anything else. I mean, it is really simple math that comes out. It really is. Yep. Hey, Shibby. They have bars down the states. Okay, this is down the states, mind you, so I'll let that sink in for a second. It is down the states. They're different in a good way at times, but in others it's like, whoa. They have bars where you can throw axes down there. That sounds like more of like a deadly combo than booze on a ferry. You are absolutely correct. But I mean, beer night darts, beer league darts. I used to get trashed at those and throw darts at a board. Yes, they're only small little pins that go into a dartboard, but I never drove home afterwards. I tried to ride my bike a couple of times, and that happened with going in through areas. Didn't quite work so well. I walked after that. But I mean, I rode my bike. Um, and as I said in the comments or in my description down below, I used to go up to the top. I used to go buy a pop, dump the pop out, pull out a beer from my backpack, and pour it into the cup and enjoy a beer on the sun deck. while traveling across on the ferry because of the fact that I was walking on and walking off, and I was going to a concert. So I usually had a pre-concert beer or going to my cousin's place in Vancouver and have a little bit of a drink while I thought about having to ride the ugly transit buses back. I still managed to. It was something that you're not allowed to do. We weren't allowed drinking on there. You're allowed smoking on there, but you weren't allowed drinking on there. It doesn't stop a lot of people. I mean, if you have it more regulated, it's a little bit better. It's like regulating marijuana. It's a little bit better, but there's still the underground people that are still charging less for their pot and everything. You're gonna have someone that's gonna want to break the rules or not want to do it. I bet you there's people on there right now drinking. They're in their cars drinking. It's just no matter what, you're gonna have someone that's gonna be stupid. But if you have it regulated, you get to monitor stupid and make sure that stupid doesn't hurt other people. I'd rather have it regulated on the ferries than have it illegal. Plain and simple. Sure, you can't smoke on there anymore. You can't even vape, can't even smoke drugs on there. Well, there's, dear, you're driving. You shouldn't be smoking drugs because that lasts longer. So, exactly. You think that's milk in that carton? You're funny. It's foaming too. And it smells like hops. Uh, he used to bring a whiskey of a little thing of whiskey or rum with me and pour it into my pop. Whatever. But again, I wasn't driving at that point in time. I was walking on and walking off. People are meeting me. For me to do that, that was just whatever. I had someone else drive me. I didn't do it. So it wasn't that bad. It's just there's a lot of things that people are freaking out about over lately, and it's horrible. This is a minor thing. This is something that has been going on with other people for a while. Like I said, it's no different than going to a restaurant or a pub or to a brewery, having a couple of pints and driving, or having a couple of glasses and driving, having one standard drink. As long as you're not on any medication that will make this a horrible decision overall. But yeah, it's just I don't know. Honestly, it's one of those things that people hear it and they immediately freak out. You don't need to freak out, guys. You really don't. It's not that horrible. If it's regulated and watched carefully, you're all good. Honestly, everybody's all good. So yeah, I've just spent half an hour being Mr. Don't do this type thing. What else do I have? What else do I have? Well, honestly, I don't have much. I would love to have more. We went through an election, and as much as I love to talk politics, you shouldn't be mixing politics and alcohol, unless it's someone that's promoting the craft beer scene, which we're gonna miss. Then I have no problems with that. I do want to say one thing. I want to thank Rachel Notley, who was our last premier, for making sure that rules were lifted and laws were changed so we can have an expansion of our craft beer, as well as getting it into places or helping to get it into places like pretty much the Stampede or anywhere else. I wanted to thank her for that. That was something that basically yes, there's that. We'll talk about that in a second, actually. Um, that people just like, honestly, thank you for that. She wasn't the best premier. Don't get me wrong. She wasn't the best premier. She actually, I was pissed because she double charged on our sin tax in the very beginning. We had it raised once with the Conservatives, and then the NDP came in and raised again. So our taxes on alcohol went up. But they also implemented a program where people could actually have a brewery, get a little little bit of a kickback because the taxes were so high, and maintain it that they can actually have this brewery for a bit and start selling their products. Hence why we have almost 100 breweries in Alberta alone now. We went up from what, 15, 20 breweries to 100 in a 4-year span. That right there speaks volumes. And some of these breweries aren't great, but some of these breweries, damn, I'm so glad they came in. So cheers to that. That I will cheers you to. For the new government that's coming in, I'm not going to be a fan, but I'm not going to dwell on it. You have to prove to me, just like the NDP did, that there is some sort of good in you. You do anything to my family, cause any issues with my kids, or anything else like that, I will have words, and I'm very scared that you will be doing that, and I will be very scared of my kids. There is a part of me that really wants to move to BC a lot sooner than the 6 years that I have left because of this. But I'm willing to see what comes from this. Very hesitantly. Very hesitantly. So, to the UCP, congratulations. Or UCP. Yeah, UPC. No, UCP. Either or, whatever. Congratulations. Very watching you very, very closely. I don't think I'd ever share a beer with you. I don't think I want to be within 10 feet of you. In fact, I was last year, and I just about threw up because you were at the same event that I was for a Stampede breakfast, and you were saying who you were, and I actually shook your hand as you told me, and I went, "Blah! You carry on now." I washed my hand very thoroughly afterwards. Not a fan of his politics, but let's see what you got. Take us back 40 years, why don't you? Because God knows farming isn't where it's at, craft beer isn't where it's at, but oil and gas needs to make a comeback. And that's what got a lot of the votes. I'm going to leave it there because that I don't want to get into politics that much. Had a comment on there. So Shibby turned around and said, people need to freak out. People need to freak out on things. That makes sense. Yes, it does. Like the Emperor's laughed at the end of the new Star Wars trailer. I kind of freaked out and went, ooh, this is going to be an interesting story. As long as you don't rehash the story again like they did in the episode where we're at 9, so episode 7, where it was another Death Star. Massive Death Star. Spoilers, by the way, if you have not seen episode 7. It's been out long enough that I'm allowed to actually say that. Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for the new Star Wars. I really am. I kind of want to see what happens with it. It'd be really good to check it out. I've been a Star Wars fan for a while, and I thank my father for that because he went and took me to go see Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back when I was old enough to watch 2 movies in a row at a movie theater. He sat me down and said, "Here, let's watch these 2 back to back," and we did. And it was the best time I ever had. He loved taking me to see these movies, and that's where I got my sci-fi from, was through him. And yeah, it's almost like how he took me to go see E.T., and I was afraid to show that I was crying because E.T. got to go back home, and I bawled like a little baby. I did. I honestly did, and I still do cry at some movies. Yeah. But yeah, so I've got a video that's going to be coming up shortly after this. It has been sent to me, and I got tagged in it. I am going to be doing a 5 non-beer related things about me. Some of them you may know, some of them you may not know. But at the same point in time, I was tagged in it by Teco Murray. He gave me a tag in it, so I decided to play along because it was a lot of fun. I tagged 3 people in it, and hopefully they play along with this because, why not? It's actually kind of cool. I threw some things in there that you would see, or if you've never seen some of my earlier videos before the booze reviews, you'll get a little taste of what I used to do. Yeah, I'm looking back going, wow, I had hair and no gray. Okay. Uh, so I've got that coming up. Um, if you haven't checked out Redbeard's channel, he's now doing the beers that I sent him. The first one came out this morning, and it was the Twin Sails Bachelor Pad, which was 3 months old. You get to see his reaction there. There's one that I'm really looking forward to because he did not like it whatsoever, and I did. So I wasn't expecting him not to like it, but I didn't realize he didn't like it that much. Um, it's a completely different beer with a different flavor, which it's understandable because it's a new style out there. So yeah, that's going to be coming up soon in his videos, I imagine. Um, I've got a couple more things that I've got reviews coming up on. The end of the month is going to be a little bit slower for me because of the fact that I will not be doing videos. I will be dealing with my father's celebration of life. And again, if you want to donate to the Victoria Hospice and Palliative Care Society, let me know. Let me know what I can do to get you on the right path to donate to that. And I will be putting those donations in with the rest of the stuff that we have. We've got 2 donation boxes that are going to be going up. So here's hoping. From there, it is going to be May and things will be starting to pick up a little bit. I am absolutely hoping that I might actually have a job in May, so my videos may trail off again. Um, it's a 3-month contract with an oil and gas company. Look at that. Things happen, I guess. If it goes through and if I get accepted to help them out. So if that's the case, then I'll be making a little bit more money and I'll be actually having some actual funds, which would be nice. It'd actually be nice to have a little bit of funds before anything else. So yeah, fingers crossed indeed. I kind of want to and I kind of don't. I am tired of the IT gigs, but at the same point in time, it's good money, and I know my shit, so might as well. Um, Not might as well. It'll be a good opportunity in all honesty. It'll be a really good one because it's one of the major oil and gas companies I have not worked with. I've worked with a lot of them, but I have not worked with this one. So here's hoping. Who knows? Maybe I get a free gas card out of it and I get cheaper gas because gas is fucking expensive right now. I'm not looking forward to going to Victoria for that very reason. It is at I think $1.60 for gas. Um, have a look here. I don't want to see. I want to see. Let's see what we got. Best gas prices in Victoria, BC are 161.9. 161.9, 162. To put that in perspective, there's a lot. Oh, actually, hang on. Let's go back here. Um, there's a lot that's can be said about that. Uh, there's yeah, that's really expensive. It is bloody expensive. So let's go liters gallon. For the American folks that watch my show, there's a few of you. So 1 liter is equal to 0.26 gallons. Let's see what the gas price. So 161. I'm going to put that on my calculator right now. 161.9. So that I know what that is. So let's look at, let's go Seattle, for example. Seattle is the closest city to Victoria. So let's look at the best gas prices for Seattle, Washington. $3.23 a gallon. So we have 3.23 per gallon. And let's switch that from gallon to liter. The US gallon to liter is 3.78. So 3.785 at 161.9 Canadian equals a lot of fucking money. That's wrong. Let's change that around. $1.61.9 times. So $6.12 a gallon. That if that puts that into perspective for the US folks, that's scary considering it's $3 and I said what, 28 cents a gallon? So it's almost double the price for gas in Victoria. I pay $1.19 here a liter. So clear 1.199 times $3.78 a gallon. So we're paying close to the amount that the US is paying per gallon in Seattle. I don't feel as bad right now, but holy crap, that is expensive in Victoria. Jeez, that is like super expensive in there. Wow, I'm scared. That's actually almost double what we pay here. Oh God, it doesn't seem right, but it is. Too much math. This is coming from someone who's a charter or almost a charter accountant. I like my math. I can't help it. I like my math. It's something that I like figuring out. But yeah, it's expensive to buy gas over in Victoria, and I'd be spending 4 days over there. I spent 20 days over there, and it was a lot of money to spend on gas because it went from 125 to 139 when I was there. It jumped 14 cents overnight for gas. It was scary because the refineries and stuff in the States are doing different things. Yeah. I mean, there's some interesting things. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of things that I've found quite interesting. That ferry one was the one that I had to talk about the most. Wow. I've also got like there's one other thing that I had going on, and that was Colwood Family says anti-impaired driving laws unfair to people with disabilities. And in a way, it's true. It is kind of true that it is a little unfair because of the fact that if you cannot blow into that little device they could charge you for drinking and driving. As was one case with someone where they actually charged her for alcohol for impairment when she couldn't blow into the device because of her health. They charged her. And so she immediately went to the hospital, drew some blood out, and they took her blood sample and said that she had zero alcohol in her blood because she had not been drinking for 20 some odd years. And she took that to court, and the court threw it out and said that she has to pay the fine, which stayed on her license and everything. It was one of the most asinine things I have ever heard, but it happens. It honestly happens, which is kind of scary. Um, yeah, I just honestly, for me to hear something like that, there has to be some sort of regulations that if you have some sort of ailment, let the police know and say this is what's going on. I had another friend that actually commented on my Facebook page posting stating that he has a sports related asthma, which can happen. I used to have something like that when I actually ran. Don't do that much anymore, so I'm out of breath all the time anyways. um so they actually got pulled over for a breathalyzer and they couldn't blow it till it clicked. And he let him know. He's like, "Look, I'm sorry, but this is my dilemma that I've got going on. This is what's happening. I'm really sorry I can't blow into this. I'm trying, really am." And they let them go. So depending on the cop and what kind of mood they're in and what kind of attitude you possibly give them, they might be a little understanding. But we do have a law now where if they feel that you're driving impaired, they have every right to breathalyze you on the spot, which kind of is fair. I mean, it's nice to see because we don't have to wait around for the holiday season to show up where we have people that get through check stops and get pulled over for drinking and driving. We don't have to wait for that kind of stuff. They can demand it on the spot right then and there if they pull you over and they suspect you of drinking. Some people don't like that. For me, you know, if it happens, it happens. If I get caught doing something I shouldn't be doing, that should be on me, just like it should be on the onus should be on everybody else. If you feel that you're not doing, if you feel or that you know that you're not doing something illegal, you should have nothing to worry about. It's a minor inconvenience which could take another 15 minutes out of your day. You know what? Sit back, relax, smell the roses for a bit, enjoy. As long as it's not minus 50 outside, you're okay. It's pretty much, you know, whatever works. So yeah, um, offhand, I don't have too much more to talk about. I'm gonna put up that video very shortly here. I think I'm gonna go play a couple of games, and then and my NHL hockey I'm mad at. NHL 2019. They don't want me to play in my playoffs. I have done 4 seasons of NHL 2018 and 2019. Out of those 4 seasons, I have managed to play 2 playoff games. Yeah, 2 playoff games because I either get injured right before the playoffs and then they get kicked out of the playoffs, or I get injured and I'm able to play 1 to 2 games and then I get injured again during the playoffs, or something else happens. Last night, I managed to get through. I played 35 games out of my 82 game season with the Nashville Predators. It was my rookie year. I was doing awesome. I was on top of the stats for everything. And I got injured for 60 days in the middle of the season with a broken ankle. And that pissed me off. Get back, and there's 4 regular season games remaining. So I'm trying to get my stats back. I had a fantastic game on my first game back where I had 4 goals, 2 assists, getting my stats back up. I wanted 100-point season or 50-goal season on my rookie year because that gets you a trophy, and I couldn't get it. I honestly couldn't get it. 2 games or the last game of the regular season, I get into a fight and the dude breaks my jaw. I am out for 16 days with a broken jaw. So I missed the first round of the playoffs. And then I get to come back for game 2 of round 2 because thankfully it took 7 games, but my team made it to the second round. And I was playing against the Oilers. Next thing I know, I'm coming up the ice, and one of their goons levels me, and I'm out for another 72 days. We got to the finals without me, and I was playing against Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh Penguins swept us in 4 games. So mad. So mad. And when I was in my WHL series to get to the NHL, I got knocked out 2 games left in the regular season and couldn't play in any of the playoff games. That is a shitty way of doing things, EA. It's like, oh, look, he's doing really well. Let's knock him out. So I think the next season I'm taking off injuries. As much as I love injuries and smoking people and hurting them, it seems that the computer likes to take me out when I'm getting a little too close to getting some real stats going or helping them win a cup or anything else like that. They even took our goalie out for 30 games, and we had our backup goalie, which was shit. Like, it's just, good players are always targeted, right? Yeah, they are. Well, in EA Sport and the EA League, yes, because I don't have any goons that will protect me and take out those guys that actually hurt me. Wish I did. I was at the top of the rankings for the most penalty minutes. Surprise. I was at the top for goals. I was at the top for assists and points. I was also at top for hits, and I stayed on top for the hits even after having 60 days. I was at top of the hits. I might be a little violent when it comes to hockey. Just saying. So yeah, that's there's that. So I'm kind of pissed off with EA Sports right now, and I might go back to play Assassin's Creed. Which, by the way, if you have a Bob Protect character, protect your guy. Yes, I do actually. I should. Either that or like get Char or someone over. Oh no, Char's a wussy. He's a 6'6" wuss. Um, but yeah, speaking of games, I don't know if you saw or not, but Origin is giving away free copies of Assassin's Creed Unity to PC gamers because of the Notre Dame church fire. And that's actually kind of cool because I've always liked the Assassin's Creed series. The thing is, all these people that are spending this money or giving money to this for people to rebuild this church, you think they can do this to give money to the homeless or to give money to charities to help the homeless out or organizations to help out with that or anything else? I'd say cancer research, but I'm not exactly a big fan of cancer research right now. I got my reserve thoughts about that. So, but yeah, I think that'd be a kind of something that people should also look at doing too. I mean, if you can spend that kind of money on a church, you can spend that kind of money on the homeless. Just throwing that out there a little bit. As well, for the people who don't know, if you haven't seen my posts or anything else like that, my string of bad luck of people dying around me has continued. Oh, right. There's no glory to be had there. That's why. It's glory to be had in protecting a few century year old church, but not in helping the homeless, survive. Granted, there is the whole population overpopulation thing we got going on, but that's just me. There's a lot of things that could be discussed about that one, and I'm not even going to get into that one. That's one other ugly battle. But yes, as I was stating earlier, hopefully there's no more death around me. My cat, I had to put her down on Monday. That was one of the hardest things I have ever had to do. Um, it was not an easy task. It hasn't been an easy task coming home. I have not hearing scratching on my doors. I've got my door closed and no scratching the doors. My cat wants in because I'm in here and she's not. Kind of surreal, but you know, again, she's not suffering anymore. She had kidney failure, and we made the choice to take her in and put her down because she couldn't eat anymore. She tried, but she just couldn't eat anymore. She tried to chew on something, but just couldn't have her mouth chew or swallow. And we she was doing that for 24 hours, and we were at the point where we went in there on Saturday, and they're like, okay, they're like, well, we feel that she's on comfort care now. It's like, okay, because her kidneys had shrunk to the size of like smaller than they're supposed to be. And then pretty much Sunday night, we're watching Game of Thrones and we're trying to get her to eat her favorite things because we're giving her comfort care. So we give her chicken. She couldn't eat that. We gave her goldfish, which just wolfs down. You don't even see it disappear. She couldn't even have that. She tried. We tried to give her food and she couldn't even eat any of that. And she tried, but she couldn't even grasp down. Um, it was tough to see, but 15 years. That cat lived 15 years, and she lived 15 very, very beautiful years. And I wasn't always the nicest to her. Get underfoot, and I get angry at her because she was underfoot, and I accidentally kick her. She always was a scrounger. She always came around dinner time looking for scraps underneath the table, and I was like, no, stop being a scrounger. You know, she was a little small trash panda slash cat, but she was my trash panda slash cat, and she was a beautiful creature. And I wouldn't have had any other cat. I don't. Well, probably another one. I'll have another one later on, but that was my first cat I ever had that was mine. And I had another one when I was in Victoria, and unfortunately, she came with a lot of fleas, and I was doing my best to get the flea situation under control, getting her a flea collar, giving her a bath every day, combing her, trying to get these fleas taken care of. And one day, my roommate apparently left the door open. Um, and she got out. And I have never ever forgiven that little fuckwad for doing that. But I lost out on that cat, and it was one of his cat's babies. And I never got a chance to make sure that that cat was okay. So honestly, I never have forgiven him for that, but having my own cat, she was beautiful. She chose me, and yeah, I've got her collar right beside me, right next to actually my dad's Rocky Bullwinkle is holding it up right now, and pretty much that's where she's going to be for the next little bit until we bring her home after she's been cremated. We're bringing her home. We've got a paw print set up. We're going to have a tuft of fur from her. We're going to have her own little urn. We've done all that. So when she gets to come home, I'll be happy. I don't know if that's creepy or not, but it's right. It feels right for us. And Chibi, I'm sorry too. It's never a good thing when it happens to cats and you have to go through that. It really isn't. But as I said, she's not suffering anymore, and if I'm trying to look at anything positive, she helped me out through 15 years of my life. I will never ever forget that. So, and she was one of the best cats I ever had, who really didn't like people at first, and she got into places and didn't like people holding her except for me. She actually allowed me to brush her and do other things where she wouldn't allow other people to do it. And when she met my wife, she instantly knew who she was going to be, and she warmed up to her right away where she wouldn't warm up to anyone else. And I even warned her, I said, look, my cat's really, really picky about people. She's not a big fan of people. And my wife, or my, I guess, girlfriend at the time, picked her up, looked at her and said, hey, you're pretty cute. And she looked at her and went, okay, we're going to do this. And then just did nothing. So yeah, she knew. She knew that I had a good wife, so, or a good second wife, I guess. So yeah, um, but that's that. I saved the depressing stuff for the last. Look at that. So if you people have still been watching, I am very sorry. I'm hoping to possibly do a live video either today or tomorrow, depending on what happens. It's Thursday today, if I remember correctly. Yes. Where I will possibly be going down to New Level Brewing. And if you've seen my strawberry milkshake beer chuka video, they have a mint one down there that I want to go check out. Like, I really want to go check that out. They had me at mint. So I'm going to go down there and see what this mint beer chuka is all about. So it's kombucha and beer mixed together, and it's got mint. Kind of excited about that. I actually threw in an application to be part of New Level, and they were really nice and actually emailed me back. So I really appreciate them emailing me back and letting me know that they don't have anything, because I did take at least a month to email them back. And I will be honest, I have been a little bit busy. It's been some crazy couple of months. So I only have myself to blame for that, but at least they said they'll keep my resume on file. Probably. We'll see what happens. Who knows? Working for a place that enjoys beer and metal, that's my ideal place to work at. But until then, folks, oh, and wizardry too, and like comic books and other mystical shit. But yeah, but until next time, folks, I am going to get myself going so I can get this video out and I can actually sit down. I might throw up a live stream of me playing Apex Legends, because I haven't done that in a while, and we get to see how badly I can die in that game. And if I actually get to a championship area, I will be extremely happy, but we'll find out. Expecto Expecto Patreon. Maybe. Who knows? They're actually a really cool company. So, um, but yes. From there, I will be back probably in the next little bit. I've got the weekend where I don't have my kids because, well, they're with mom for Easter weekend, and I am free for a little bit. Well, my wife's got the days off too. I am partially free for a little bit, and I might come back on and sort of discuss whatever, wherever, whoever, the usual. But until next time, folks, please stay tuned. I've got some more stuff coming up. I'm going to try and get them out as soon as I can. Thank you again for joining. And please, by all means, enjoy the rest of the day. For everyone out there, cheers. Stay frosty. We'll see you real soon. Thanks again for watching me ramble for a bit. And you guys have yourselves a wonderful day.